Come up, Cap.
Hi, sweetheart.
Good boy.
Watch your tail.
Hi, everyone. What is that? What's that doing up there? He wants to know what that is.
It's a microphone, sweetheart.
We don't normally use the mic, but I don't really want to hold the camera because I want to talk for a little bit. And then also, we just got shots.
Yeah.
So holding a camera would be hard anyway. But Kep's up here and he wants to just relax. So first off, hi. It's
Friday.
It's Friday. You might be surprised that we're making a video at all, which is fair. We debated about whether we wanted to film anything today, but we talked about it, and we basically decided that there's been so many comments that we've received over the years where people are looking up to us and looking to us for answers or strength or
as
some
role models.
Yeah, and that has always meant a lot to me. And I thought that in the grand scheme of things, it would be disingenuous to not tell the full story. What happened yesterday was really hard for us, and
It's still hard.
It's still very hard, but I thought that it was important to continue and show that life goes on, and that you are going to grieve, and it's gonna hurt. It's gonna be hard, and I wanted to make sure that part of the story got told. So my plan going forward is to continue filming things, and it might be kind of rambly. For the next few days, it might just be random thoughts that we have about how we're feeling, and I think that it could be therapeutic for us to get those feelings out, and I'm hoping that maybe it's therapeutic for some of you, whether this is something that you've just recently gone through or you know you're going to go through soon. If it helps someone, then I'm all for it. And if nothing else, then it's certainly...
It's helping us.
It's helping us. One of the things that Mao and I realized very quickly on the long car ride home yesterday is that talking helps a lot. We sat in silence for a while, and it was not... I mean, for us, I can only speak for us, and that just is a blanket statement for the rest of this video, but like, for us, it was helpful to discuss everything. And we talked about how we were feeling, and we talked about Sagan and how much we loved him, and little things he did, and things that we liked, things that made us laugh. And we cried a lot. We cried a whole lot yesterday. In fact, and I can say this with some level of certainty, I have never cried as much as I did yesterday. I didn't even know I could physically cry that much. Turns out there was a lot. In fact, by the end of the night, Mal and I both felt dehydrated, and I was getting concerned. I was like, we need to drink water because we've bawled our eyes out so many different times. And the ride home was hard. We felt like we did the right thing. And even now, I still feel like we made the right choice for Sagan given the circumstances. And I'm happy that he didn't have to suffer. And one of the things from talking with the vet yesterday is that it sounds like he probably wasn't suffering. So it's not like in his final days that he was in pain. I mean, obviously he was extremely fevered, and everyone has had a fever at some point, so they know what that's like. But I don't believe that he was in pain. He was just fevered and feeling very down and very sick. But had we elected to not let him pass and had instead brought him home, he probably would have entered into a very painful state. And Mao has told me, a story before about someone who elected to do that and how awful that was for the cat to be in pain and screaming. And I couldn't do that. Like, everything for as awful as the last 2 days have been, and oh my God, they've been terrible. Knowing that we were able to allow him to go peacefully was a big deal for us. We elected to be in the room when they did the procedure, and for those who are not familiar with how that works, they give him basically anesthesia so he goes to sleep, and then they apply the second injection, which takes him out. And while he was in our lap, he was draped across both of our laps, and he was purring, and I'm sorry. We've done so much crying, and there will probably still be some. Time is going to heal this wound, and it'll get better every day. It's still fresh, and it still hurts very bad. And I'm very appreciative of the vet. And for, all of the information they had. The vet that we went in Charleston to see,
the ER vet,
she was wonderful, and you could tell she was heartbroken for us. Like, she had tears in her eyes, and I'm thinking,
and she's trying to be so professional.
And I'm thinking, how do you do this? Like, how on earth could you do this day in and day out? Like, this would have to be so hard. You have to be such a strong person to be with people to do that. But I mean, we gave that cat the world. We always did, and we tried up until the very end to do that, and that was important to me. And that's why we drove him to Charleston to try and see if there would be anything they could do for him. But
they were very honest with us, and
yeah, and I appreciated all that, and we weighed all the options, and I could not bear the thought of him dying on the table. It was just awful, and the vet really made it sound like his chances for survival were just super low. Like, he was going to die from infection if they tried to get in there and do anything. So, that's how we made the call to just have him go to sleep then. And it was the right call. Like, I've objectively, it was the right call, and it was so hard to make that call. But, like, being able to see him go and to hold him and know that he went in peace. He was as relaxed as he could be given the circumstances. I mean, he was just so happy to be on our laps and purring, and it's just, I have to tell you, there's a quote from The Art of War that I live by a little bit, and it says, appear strong when you are weak, and appear weak when you are strong. And I have spent 2 days appearing strong. I was so worried for Sagan. And, you can ask Mal, I'm not someone that suffers from anxiety. I just don't. I don't know why. Mal has anxiety, and I've learned to identify it and work around it and try to help Mal. I don't have anxiety. I don't feel anxious about things. And I was so full of anxiety about Sagan. And it was so hard, because I don't know what's going to happen, but obviously I have a positive outlook. And the thing is, like, I kept telling myself, like, there's no way that there can be something serious wrong because the cat is 7 years old. And I know that doesn't exclude him, but, like, he's so young. And every time we go to the vet, they do the checkups and they say he's doing good and he's normal at home. And I'm like, yeah, he's normal at home. And he runs and plays. He eats fine. He goes to the bathroom fine. He, everything. Just like everything's good. And I taken him to the vet on Wednesday and them saying that he has a mass. I was just thinking, well, he had to have eaten something, It has to be like a hairball, or he ate something stupid at night, because he does that. I was like, that's the only explanation, There's no way
Yeah.
that it could be anything else other than that. And I
Because he had been so fine.
yeah. He was on breakfast stream on Tuesday. And actually, he had been downstairs, and Mal went downstairs to do something, and she brought him up. And I told Mal later, I'm like, I'm so glad that you did that. That was the last time, And I know that people have probably brought this up, but I've thought about the fact that that we've got like 2.5 months of vlogs we've never released from 2018. It's been so long ago, I don't know what's in there. I know Sagan's in there, and I know that it's gonna be very odd to finally get to that stuff and work on it, because he's gonna be alive again. And I don't think it's gonna hurt to work on that. I think it's going to hurt to finish working on that. I think it'll be kind of a joy to relive some memories and wonder when I edit those vlogs, like, is he going to be in this one? Is he going to be in this one? And then I think the thing that'll hurt is getting to the end of May 2018, where that second timeline ends, and then there is no more. But that is something I don't have to worry about right now. Anyway, I want to back up a little bit. We drove home.
Yeah.
And like I said, it was hard. But, we're trying to approach grief in the best possible way. And when we got home, it was a huge punch to the gut, because you're in his space and you see all of these things that remind you of him. We had actually, we've been ordering our food from Chewy. And Mal had just got a Chewy box on Wednesday. So we have all of his food, and him and Kep don't eat the same food, so it's Sagan's food, and it's an entire supply of his food. When Emil and Massey were here in January, one of the things that Massey gave the cats for Christmas was a subscription to Meowbox, which
They've been delayed.
Which they bring toys, and Sagan loves toys. I mean, Kep will play a little bit, but that's like Sagan's thing. He loves toys, and you guys probably saw the vlog last month where we got the first Meow box and we opened it, and Sagan went and got something out of the box and ran with it, and he just loved it so stinking much. And the Meow box was supposed to be here earlier, and it got delayed. And it's on the counter and it's unopened, and we never got to open it. And it's just little things like that, and the house is an entire ball of cat hair, so we find his cat hair everywhere.
Whiskers.
And on Wednesday, he wouldn't eat. When he came home from the vet, he had that injection, which gave him just enough energy that he wanted to eat a little bit, and that's all he ate. And then for the rest of the night, we were trying to get him to eat something. And in an act of desperation, we opened up the Chewy box because Mao had ordered. There's these treats that the only ingredient is chicken, and it's
one ingredient.
It's freeze-dried chicken, and the cats adore it. They go nuts for it. And Mao had ordered a pack of it and was saving it for Sagan's birthday. And we were so desperate to get him to eat, we opened up the Chewy box and got out those treats, and we're just holding it in front of him, and he would have tried to bite your finger off to get that treat so bad, and he just wouldn't eat. And my heart sank so much. I was just, it's been a very sad 2 days.
Yeah.
And part of the grieving process, and part of this process just in general, was second guessing yourself so much. Did I misstep? Did I do something wrong? Was the final choice that we made, was it the right choice? Was there signs that we should have caught on earlier? Did we do something wrong a while back? Should we have seen some sort of warning sign? Did we fail him? And it's just, we have to keep telling ourselves, logically, no. We've adored that cat. We've done everything we could for that cat, always, all the time. And guilt is just one of those things, because you don't want it to be true, and you want to blame something for this happening, especially with him being so young. And I think part of it is just wanting to blame someone, so you just blame yourself. You're I failed him somewhere. I did something, and it's been really, really helpful going through this grief with Mallory, because we can be there for each other to be like, it's not your fault. We didn't do anything wrong. We took him to the vet every single year. He had his annual checkup. If there was ever anything wrong, we took him. Like, when we noticed that he had
The lump under his tongue.
we managed to catch a lump under his tongue with a photo, and we took him in and had it surgically removed just to be sure that it wasn't anything. Like, we've always done everything we could for this cat. But, again, there's anger and bitterness over what's happened because it's just so sudden and so instant. And, we just want to find someone that we can say, you did this. And it's not. It's just circumstantial. This is life. Life happens, and I hate it. And
we drove to Charleston for him. We would have gone anywhere if there had been a way.
Oh yeah, if they would have said, "Oh, someone in Texas can fix him," we
would have called Austin and got a flight.
Yeah, we would have done anything. I just, we don't have children, and these are our children. I know I've said that before, but you have to understand how serious I am when I say that. Like, these are our children, and it's just been very, very painful. But we came home. The vlogs were so close to being caught up, and I knew that I needed to start the grieving process and the healing process, and I needed to start working on this. And I told Mal, I was like, I can't bear the thought of taking a step back from everything for a few days and then coming back and having to edit this and relive this. I can't do it. I need to get all of this done right now. And I know that that's probably not how everyone would approach this problem, but that's how I thought would be best. So I came home, and
I didn't want to face it in a week or two.
Yeah. I came home and I took care of everything. The videos on Steam Plays were already uploaded and stuff anyway, so I just said that's already set, so whatever. And then on the vlog, I had to edit Wednesdays, and I had to edit Thursdays, and people were so excited that the vlogs were caught up, and I was seeing the comments as we released stuff, because I released the 19th, which means it was caught up. And then I released the 20th, which I don't ever do. I never release the day on the same day. And I know that people's hearts were sinking. And we announced on Twitter that we're taking a step back from the internet, which is true. And I think it's important for us to continue doing the vlogs to help people through processes and help ourselves through this. I don't know when I'm going to cut this. I don't know when I'm going to release this.
Right now, we're one day at a time, 1 hour at a time.
Basically that.
Right now, what should we do?
Yeah.
And sometimes that's DoorDashing dinner and trying to choke down something that doesn't taste like anything. Sometimes that's nibbling a piece of toast with nothing on it. Sometimes it's just sitting here talking.
Yeah, when we got home last night and I started working on the stuff, I told Mal, I was like, we barely ate anything on Thursday. And I was like, we have to eat something. So we had some food DoorDashed, and we tried to get it down. And then, we didn't eat again until, we worked on stuff, got everything set to the point where we can take a step away from the internet for days. And like I said, I don't know when I'm going to cut this and release this. If I feel up to it, it might come out. And if I don't, then it'll just be out later. I don't know how I'm going to feel. Every hour is a roller coaster, and who knows? But we went to bed last night, and we laid in bed, and we talked a little bit, and we continued to cry. We had been on the couch, and after we finished up, and we'd cried, and we got in bed, and we cried, and eventually I was so physically exhausted, I just passed out. I was so tired from just crying and feeling tension and all of this stuff. But it's been very important for us to grieve in a positive way. I think the worst thing you could do is suppress how you feel. And it's been helpful with Mal because she's going through the exact same thing. And we've been able to discuss things. And I know that you're hurting in the exact same way I am. One of the things I talked to Mal about is that, when someone you love in your life dies, the experience that you're going to have is always going to be different from every other person. Because, if one of my parents died, Mal knows my parents and loves my parents, but they're not her parents. And the grief that we have is going to be different. And we would support each other, of course, but it's not going to be the same.
We have different histories with different people.
Exactly. Same thing if a friend died. But the only completely equal playing field is our cats. And it's actually comforting to know, because all the experiences that I've had with Sagan, Mouse had the exact same experiences. We picked them up at the same time.
From cattails?
Yeah. We got them from the shelter at the same time. We loved them. Their entire lives, we spent, a great portion, fairly equal time with them. And we know them the same. And it's been nice to know that when I feel something, that Mao is experiencing that same pain. And we've been finishing each other's grief sentences, because she'll start saying about something and she'll get halfway through it and I'll just finish it and she'll say, yes, exactly that.
It's such a roller coaster, and I feel like we're on the same car of the roller coaster. Oh, we're sad. Oh, we're mad. Oh, we're nauseous. Oh, it's just, it's like we're synced up that way, and it's been comforting.
Yeah. So, it's been hard. It will continue to be hard. Like I said, we've decided we're definitely taking just kind of a few days off. If I decide to release vlogs, don't judge me for it. It's just something that it might be helpful for me, is to have some sense of normalcy through that. But largely, we've just kind of stepped away from everything. And I've seen a few of the tweets. I've seen a few of the comments on the vlogs and stuff. And there's some solace in the fact that so many other people appreciated Sagan. There's been a lot of people in the past year that I know that have lost pets, but none of them have had the reach that Sagan has had. And that brings me comfort in some way. I've been documenting his entire life. And it's nice, actually, because not only do I have all those memories to look back on myself, but there's so many of you that are grieving with us. And I hope that doesn't sound morbid, but it's actually comforting to know that I'm not going through this alone. And I understand that you guys have never met him, but you've gotten a chance to see what he was like. And it helps just knowing that someone else is going through this, even if it's not in quite the same way.
And all the art I've seen and the comments and the support, they truly do mean a lot.
Yeah.
He was very loved.
Yeah. Yeah, he was. Anyway, we're gonna keep doing this. We're gonna keep making videos, kind of chronicling how we feel. And I completely understand if yesterday's vlog was heavy, today's vlog's heavy, and you might need to say, I can't watch these. And I get it, and I understand. This is very helpful for us, and I hope that for someone it's helpful for you too. And if you can't watch them right now, you gotta watch them later. I totally get it. It's just we're gonna grieve for a while, and it's gonna be hard to get through that. But I have so much on my mind that I just want to get out, and every day is gonna be part of that. But oh, my arm hurts. we had to have the second.
When we had, before all this, we had our physicals.
Yeah.
And I had planned our physicals for 6 months from when we got our first hepatitis A shot for when we had gone to China. And it just so happened that, Wednesday was 6 months later when we needed the second. So we were actually supposed to get these yesterday, and obviously we couldn't. So we decided just to do it today so we didn't have to think about other responsibilities like paying rent or...
So we got up, we laid in bed this morning for a long time. I mean, we laid in bed, we held each other, we cried.
Kepi was on the bed the whole time.
Kepi was on the bed with us. And, so we've done all, we did all that, and we just laid in bed, and bed is very comforting. It's a safe place. And eventually we got out of bed, we ate a piece of toast, and we've just tried to restore the vaguest sense of normalcy. I never talked about, telling folks, but whenever we left the
Charleston,
when we left Charleston yesterday, we called some folks and talked to them, and it wasn't until I got home that I let my parents know, because Mom was at work, and I called my dad, and my dad was so worried for Sagan. Because you may recall, I never showed it, but on Wednesday when we had to go to our doctor's appointments, Sagan was in such bad shape that we had asked my dad to come over and sit with him. And he did. I mean, he was like, yeah, okay. So he came over and he just sat with Sagan. He was taking pictures of him while we were at the doctor's office, just saying, hey, he's here, he's resting.
Like every 10 minutes we got a new photo, and it was...
And my dad was... And I've said it before, but sorry. My dad just really loves animals, and he has adored the cats. Anytime we go anywhere, if we're out of town for any reason, my dad is over here, and he takes...
Not just to feed them, he's here for hours.
He'll stay, and he'll play with them, and he'll sit with them, and let them sit on his lap, and brush them. He adores animals. He's adored our boys. And when I called, and he answered, and first thing he asked was, how's Sagan? And I had to tell him, I said, Dad, we had to put Sagan down. And he just started crying so hard.
Sweetheart.
And I felt bad for him because my dad has taken care of the cat so many times. And actually, when we were in China and the hurricane came through, my parents stayed here. I know we had talked about that a little bit, but they stayed here, and they had brought Rocco over, and they took care of the cats. And so my parents were really devastated. They did not want that to happen. They did not want that for us, and they were both in tears on the phone. And my parents have big hearts for animals, and that was rough. That was its own form of roughness. And I know people have been, hi bud, people have been asking about Kepler, and that's been its own heartbreaking thing too, because you can't explain it to him. There's nothing you can say to explain to him what's going on. And when we first got home yesterday, we came in, and obviously we have the cage with us, and it's empty. And it just smells like the vet. And he came around the corner and he hissed because it smells like the vet. And we went and put the cage away. And Mal and I were so distraught last night, and Kep sat with us, and he was with us.
He was with us the whole time.
He was very clingy. I think he kind of understood that something was very bothersome to us. But last night, he was kind of looking around a little bit. I think he was a little confused because Sagan is always on the bed, and Kep will sit on the floor, and he was looking around, and he never saw Sagan. And then this morning was the big thing where I fed them, and they always eat together. And Kep was eating breakfast, and he kept stopping and looking over.
Because Sagan's normally trying to come steal Kep's food.
Sagan tries to scarf us down as fast as possible to go steal Kep's food, and Kep kept looking, and Sagan's not there. And then a lot of times after they eat lunch, they'll play, just on their own. Kep will chase Sagan, or Sagan will chase Kep, and it was very clear at lunch. Kep started to walk around and just look for Sagan. And it's so heartbreaking because you can't do anything. And he was just pacing everywhere, looking for his brother. And, he's not there, buddy. I can't explain that to him. And it's just been sad. It's just been really sad. But, time heals wounds, and,
we've been letting him cuddle, and...
Yeah, we're basically, we're doing our best to get through the situation and to be strong and to grieve properly and to head towards the grief, head towards the sadness. We don't want to work through it, in a positive manner, and I think that we're doing that. It's just
painful, and it will be.
Yeah, and I mean that we're never going to completely get over this. Losing a family member, and I use those words with reason. I don't want to consider Sagan and Kepler a pet. That diminishes them where they stand in my eyes. They're family members.
They had so much personality.
Yeah.
And they meant a lot.
And I've said so much. I know this vlog is long, but like I don't know if I mentioned this already, but yesterday was I cried more yesterday than I ever have, and yesterday was absolutely I think the hardest day of my life. I've never been that emotionally distraught about anything, and I've never lost a close family member. My parents are both still alive, but I've lost a lot of my grandparents, and it's not that I don't love my grandparents. I lost my dad's dad in 2008, and I lost my mom's dad in 2009, and I love them dearly, and I cried when they passed, and it was extremely emotional and sad for me, but it does not compare to losing Sagan. And I know that some people will not understand that, because some people are not going to be able to equate animal and human. You just have to understand, I live far away from my grandparents, and I don't see them very often, and the emotional attachment that I have is very different than it is with my cat, because I take care of Sagan. Like, he eats because I feed him. Like, his box is clean because I scoop it. We spent hours together every single day. Like, I would work and he would be on me, and I would spend so much time, and like, there's such an emotional bond. And it's so clear that he loved us. I never doubted that for an instant. But
the times on breakfast stream where he'd just be up here and just I'd scratch his chin and he would smile.
It's just, I've never had a loss that hurt that bad. And I love my family, and I love my extended family, and I love my grandparents, and I don't want to diminish that in any way. That's not my intent. Yesterday was so hard, and today is hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to wake up and face another day without him, and we're gonna be dealing with that for a long time. But anyway, I haven't seen my parents yet. My mom asked if we needed anything. We told her we would really appreciate it if she would just bring us like a pizza that we could cook. So she's going to probably be here soon with a pizza, and we sincerely appreciate that. We just don't really feel like going anywhere. We had to go earlier to get the shots, but otherwise we're trying to just kind of relax and do whatever it is we need to do at the time. But thank you guys for watching, and
thank you for loving Sagan.
Thank you so much for loving Sagan. It's so clear from your comments that you did. And
he was a great boy.
He was the best cat I've ever known. Like, he had such a personality. He was so bright, and he just a free thinker, And I love Kepler, and I don't want to diminish Kepler at all. I adore Kepler.
Kepler's amazing.
And Kepler is amazing in all of his own rights. But Kepler and Sagan were so different. And, Kepler is more instinct than Sagan was. Sagan would often...
You could see Sagan think.
You could see the wheels turning.
He was figuring
stuff out.
How to create a diversion so he could steal chicken, or how to open this door, or how to get to the treats.
He's just a really a really amazing animal that was taken from us far too soon. I think my mom's here.
Yeah, she is.
Okay. We'll go ahead and end it here. I think I've said all I needed to say anyway, but thank you all for watching. I hope this helped somebody. If nothing else, it did help us. And we'll be back tomorrow, and things will start to get brighter. They will.